Wait, what? Hey, hey, hey. I see you jamming.
I felt like I was in a marching band at a HBCU.
Good. Okay, folks. So here we are today with another Empowered Presence episode. I'm so excited because today we have a special guest, Miss Portia Obing. She is a social media strategist with more than 10 years of experience in social media strategy and content management. She started before snaps were chatted, before Instagram had stories, before ticks were talked, and her specialties currently are Instagram and LinkedIn. She helps women level up on LinkedIn, strengthen their personal brands, and attract the money making opportunities they deserve. She also helps organizations turn their employees into LinkedIn superstars who advocate for the company, amplify their brand messaging, increase brand visibility, and attract the best talent. I love it. Portia loves being Ghanaian, spicy food, dancing, live music, listening to podcasts, experiencing new countries, and reading a good book, preferably on a beautiful beach in Ghana. I hear that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. Such a wonderful intro.
Oh, it's all you. It's all you.
Thank you so
Ooh.
much. I'm super happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm ready to talk about how people can be the LeBron of their industry. I've worked, as the bio says, I've worked in social media for a very long time, and I'm talking about I've done all the things in social. I thought I was like a photographer on social. I thought I was like an expert tweeter. I have had several Instagram branded accounts. I've done a lot of things on social. And now I primarily focus on more so on LinkedIn than Instagram. But because I built this pretty big brand on Instagram, I can tell people how to navigate the platform really well. But I do a lot of working with women one-on-one when it comes to LinkedIn and their personal brands. And a lot of the times I'll tell them, you should focus on taking your skill set wherever you want to go. And whenever I think about that, I think about LeBron James, which I'm not like a huge like, oh, LeBron is the best. You know how the guys how the guys will be arguing, no, LeBron is the best. Michael's the best. I'm not I'm not like that. But when I look at LeBron James, I see somebody who really figured out how to take his skill set to places when the current situation was no longer serving him. And I know that some people feel some type of way about it, but I do think that I even listened to, I think, an interview that Kobe Bryant did years ago where he admired like some of the younger players who would leave the teams when it was no longer serving him. Well, like Kobe, he started as a Laker, he retired as a Laker. LeBron has been like, listen, this is not working for me. Therefore, I will take my skill set and I will go to a place where it does work for me. And I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to their careers and their jobs, they're afraid to do that, right? They're like, oh, okay. Or another thing that they'll do is like, okay, yes, I have this skill set and I'm going to apply for that job after I get, second certification. And I'm like, wait a minute. That's not, no, you don't need to do that. Take the skill set that you have and take it where it serves you.
I love that. That's such a great point. It's like, a lot of the women I work with, they're always like, well, I was thinking about going back to school and getting another degree on top of my 8 degrees that I already have.
Please.
It's like, for what? You're gonna go into another 100,000 in debt for what?
Right.
It's like you already have this, like you said, the skill set. You have the resume, you have the accomplishments, you have the credibility, you have the credentials. The proof is in the pudding, but you still feel like you need a degree.
Right. Oh, I see that all the time where it's like, oh, I have 2 masters and I'm thinking about getting my PhD in what? Your PhD in what? For what reason? Like, why are you doing this to yourself? Like you said, all you're going to do is incur more debt, and you already have the skill. What really is like frustrating to me is when clients come to me and they're like, yeah, I saw this job that I'm interested in, and I just want to make sure that I have the skill set to apply for this job. And I look at the job description, I'm like, you can do at least 50% of these things. And they're like, yeah, but I don't know if that's enough. What are you talking about? That's more
Yeah,
than enough.
yeah. And their male counterparts are like, oh, I can do this. Apply.
No, but
Apply.
one of the responsibilities. They're like, I can do that first one. I'm a
We're
VP.
there. Apply.
Let me apply
And
today.
then, right? And then they're gonna call and be like, hey, I submitted my application. I didn't get a response. Uh-oh, you're frozen. Okay, Portia is having some technical issues.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. Now we
there
can
you
see
go.
me.
You're back. Okay.
Was I lost?
You were frozen.
OMG. See,
It's
those
okay.
Comcast people. Oh,
It happens.
disgusting. I'm so disgusted with Comcast. But anywho, as I was saying, we were talking about how like the male counterparts, when they see a job description, it'll be one responsibility that they can do, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I got the job. It's me. It's all me." Whereas, yeah, a lot of the women clients that I work with, they'll say, "I need to have at least 90% of the qualifications." You do not need 90% of the qualifications at all whatsoever. You already have the skill set. And one thing that I do like that LeBron James does is that he invests in himself, and like he has the basics and the fundamentals of like what it takes to be a great basketball player, but he just invests in keeping himself going, right? Which is why he's like what 37 now and coming back for another season. So if you want to invest in keeping yourself just like up on the trends, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to some newsletters, make sure you know what's going on in your industry. That's wonderful. But I'm doubtful that you need a fifth certification. And
Right.
if it's not going to get you more money, what's the purpose and point of doing it?
Exactly. That's right. And you know what else about LeBron? It's like he's about LeBron at the end of the day, right? He's with the team and the teammate, but he's like you said, he does things, he makes moves for himself to line himself up with the championship ring.
Correct.
And that I think is a great lesson that we need to, take heed to in terms of just being selfish around our careers and not feeling like, oh, we have to be loyal to this company. Child.
that's laughable. That's laughable.
It's funny though, a lot of years went into resume writing for me, and a lot of particularly women would say things like that. Like, well, I just started here, so I don't really want to leave quite yet, but I want to be ready. But you already know it's not for you. So why are we staying? For
Correct.
the company? Oh, I don't want to leave the team high and dry.
You know how many
Child.
times I've heard that? You know how many times it's like, oh, well, we're the team and we're in the middle of a big project. Do you know how many times LeBron has said, who cares about your team? I'm going to where I can win a championship. And so
Right.
the thing about like when LeBron first left Cleveland and people were really feeling some type of way, I was like, why do y'all even care? And in my mind, I was thinking like, y'all are so upset that he chose himself focused on
Mhm.
himself, is because y'all don't do that in your lives. That's why
Yep.
y'all are so upset. He
Mm.
literally stayed on a team where the general manager was like, no, we're not going to invest in helping you be the best that you can be. You figured out yourself, LeBron. We're not going to give you the teammates you need to get a championship. We're not going to give you the coaching you need to get a championship. And LeBron was like, all right, bet. I'm leaving. And what happened? He got a championship with Miami, right? So all this time that you're thinking, oh, well, I got to be loyal to this company that's not loyal to you. That's why I laugh all the time.
It's these jobs ain't loyal. Like,
No.
stop it.
They're not loyal to you at all. You don't owe these people anything. So if you're working at a place where you're really good at what you do, they've passed you up for promotion, they keep giving you the runaround, like, oh, just wait, we're gonna give you that promotion, or just wait, we're gonna give you that raise. We're talking to senior leadership, and months go by. Let me tell you, baby girl, they're not gonna give you the promotion. You're not gonna
That's
get the
right.
raise. You're not gonna lead the team, so you have to choose yourself,
That's
do
right.
what's best for you, take your skill set and go to a new company.
Yeah.
Develop your personal brand so well that when
Mm.
you're like, all right, I'm leaving my skills, my personal brand, everything that I have is going to a new company. That serves me.
And you know what's funny? While they wait for the promotion, they're doing all the extra things, right?
Yes.
I know
Yes.
we talked about this before,
Yes.
where they're going to the events, trying to volunteer and take on all these extra things just to show somebody like I'm valuable.
Right.
And it's
They-
like, it's one thing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Don't there's nothing wrong with stepping up and doing a few extra things. But again, it has to be of benefit to you,
Correct.
right? If you're going to volunteer because there's a company event and you actually like setting up the chairs versus networking.
This, this, this. Okay. Y'all gotta listen to what Melanie is putting down, okay? This is
Right?
what y'all gotta
Because
listen to.
you moving the chairs thinking this gonna get me my promotion because they're gonna see that I'm down for the
Dedicated.
cause.
They're gonna see that I'm here and I am dedicated, and they're gonna see my face. Let me tell you, listen, it's great that you love giving to the organization, but stop volunteering to plan every single happy hour. Stop volunteering to plan every single retirement party, every single birthday party, moving the receptions. That's what you need to be doing. Volunteer for the VIP receptions. Volunteer for the receptions where there's going to be people who are decision makers and movers and shakers. Like that's where you need to be. Don't they listen? They're going to be like, oh, she moved those chairs. We should have her. We should have her book the catering.
Right. Should ever serve the food too.
Right? Don't do it to yourself. It's not benefiting you at all whatsoever. If you can, for these events at your job, if they are VIP receptions, VIP part, anything like that, those are the ones you want to go to. That's where you want to be networking, talking to the decision makers and people who are really help you, because it's about you.
You. That's right. Just like what LeBron is about LeBron.
And it makes people so upset. I support it so much.
And you know what? I think, especially as women, we tend to be selfless and we want to nurture and help everyone. I want to help people. I want to help, everyone else. And we tend to, especially moms, we tend to give, give, give. And then whatever's left, we'll just take the scraps.
I know.
That's just how we're kind of been socialized to grow up. And
Yeah,
so we bring that into the workplace, into our careers, and it just doesn't work. It
that's
just
that's a
doesn't
really
work.
no, that's a very, very, very good comparison that we do approach a lot of our career like we are socialized to grow up as being very selfless and pouring into other people's, and then we have nothing left to pour into ourselves, and we're just so tired and exhausted. You got to give to yourself first, and then
Yeah.
the overflow
So
give to
what are
others.
some ways in which we can pour into ourselves first when it comes to career? What would you say?
Yeah, I would say really protecting your peace is important. So when you are, I mean, if there's something going on at your job that's bothering you, something that doesn't sit well with you, choose yourself first. Speak up about it. Talk to the right people. Protect your peace. Let it go. I know for me, it's very important that I have a good morning routine to ease into my day. Um, I'm gonna log in when I need to log in. I got to protect my peace. I got to do what I got to do. I think that's really important. And then also working on your personal brand is very important. So if your company covers any professional development that you are interested in, go ahead. If you need to make the proposal to justify the spend of why you need to go to a certain conference or why you need to be in a certain accelerator program, go ahead, write the proposal. If there's no proposal needed and they just give you the card, go ahead, invest in whatever. If it's a mastermind, accelerator program, a conference, things like that, that's how you're going to pour into yourself, and it's going to help other people as well. I really think people, and also when you're talking about professional development, that's one thing that you should ask during the interview process. Like, how much does your company invest in professional development per employee? Not a team, because I do a lot of LinkedIn webinars for companies and employee resource groups, which is great. It's phenomenal that they provide that. But what individually are you providing? How much do I get to spend on making sure that I'm working on myself and my skill set?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get better on your dime.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because, wait, go ahead.
And I was gonna say, yeah, because it's beneficial for me, but it's also beneficial for you because I'm bringing this back to your team and your company. So it's not like, now if you take the certification or the event or whatnot, and then the next day you're like, I'm out of here. They'll look good,
Yeah,
but
yeah. You don't want to destroy your reputation. You don't want to destroy that. You don't want to destroy that at all. But yeah, the thing is like, okay, you're getting better on their dime. But I tell people all the time, it's like their dime of what they're paying you versus how much value you're bringing to the company, it's not even matched, right?
yeah,
So the amount, like your salary is not even matched in terms of the value that you're bringing. The professional development plus your salary plus your bonus, again, it's not even matched, because whatever you're doing, you're probably saving the company a lot of money or making the company a lot of money, or you're helping increase their reach or their visibility, which is bringing in more business or maybe more donations, maybe more grants. Whatever it is that you're doing, your salary, the professional development, the bonus, whatever they do for you is a fraction of the value that you are bringing. So don't feel bad when it's like, oh, well, this conference is like $3,000. Go to the conference, book yourself a first class flight. You will probably save them $3,000 next week.
exactly. And that's the thing. They're not going to give it if it's really going to hurt their pockets.
That
It's
part.
not, that's not how businesses, especially big corporations, that's not how they roll. When the pandemic hit and people kept saying, well, should I still negotiate? What?
Again, laughable.
Let me tell you something. I was like, hold on, wait a minute. You have to understand how corporations work. When they're cutting back, they're not cutting back because they don't have the money. They're cutting back to protect the profit.
Listen,
That's all they're doing. The
say it
money,
again. Say
they're
it again, please.
they're not cutting back because they don't have the money. They are cutting back to protect the profit.
Exactly.
So you thinking you they're gonna look at you like you're a savior because you didn't negotiate? That's you're delusional. That's just not reality. It's just not how this all works. And these corporations, they have the money, they have the budgets, and all they do to cut is to protect the profit.
protect the, you know, actually, this is funny because this goes back to LeBron, right? Because when he left and went to Miami, Cleveland was like, all right, okay, let's invest the money that we already had into building him a team and getting him a coach that can bring a championship to Cleveland, right? So he had to leave for them to be
Mm.
like, oh, he wasn't playing. He really left. Yeah, he really left because y'all tried to act like y'all didn't have the budget to
Mm.
invest in what he needed to be his best. They always have money.
They always have it. They always have it. Just look at what the CEO makes. That's a great indicator right there that they
Yeah,
have it.
the base salary, just the base. This we're talking base salary without
Right.
the bonus, without the shares.
Right.
Base salary.
And all the splurging they do to get those tax write-offs ready
Listen,
for the end of the year. Come on.
that's a
Anyway.
whole
Anyway. So when it comes to personal branding, what is unique about LeBron? Would you say that he has built this brand for himself, even outside of basketball? What are
yeah.
some of the things that you feel like we can learn from him in terms of just building a strong personal brand in general?
Oh yeah, great. So LeBron is in that era of the NBA that started being like the family man. So prior to LeBron, like when you think about Michael Jordan, you think about like that's a basketball player, right? Like you don't necessarily think of him as a family man. Whereas LeBron, he came into this era where it was like, okay, he's the family man. He's the man who invests back in his community. He's the one who's giving back. He's the one that puts all his friends on so everybody rises up. So he's
Mm,
seen as this like good guy, a great poster person for the NBA in general. So like him, Chris Paul, Dwayne Wade, like now Steph Curry, and like Russell Westbrook, they all have this persona of like the family man. So like on top of the family man, like I mentioned, he's really known for giving back to the community. So really known for giving back to organizations in Ohio, really known for donating money to various organizations. So he's really built himself up as this good guy. Whereas I'm not like deep into like NBA culture, deep into gossip culture, where I haven't really heard of a lot of scandals that LeBron has had. That's not like his brand. His brand isn't I'm going to be in the club. you know, his brand is I'm a family man. I invest in my community. I work really hard at being the best basketball player I can be.
I love that.
That's
Yeah, and one thing that I want to add to that, because when you talked about how he's now able to give back, he had to build up to that and be selfish first,
right.
right? He had to be selfish first to make moves and do what he has to do for him to be in a position to be able to give back, right?
Absolutely.
Because you can't give back if you broke. You
This is
you can't. You have to have built up your career to the point where you have enough money now that you can pour into your communities.
absolutely,
W-
absolutely. And
Yeah,
I have actually been looking at that in terms of what happens when women make more money and like how communities benefit from that. And on a scale, even like when they look at women philanthropists, they give at a higher rate than their male counterparts, right? So, like you said, you do have to be selfish at first to build, and then you can do so much more. You can make
yeah,
so much of a greater impact, and then you too, a part of your personal brand, can be known as the person who gives back and pours into the community.
that's right. That's so powerful. I
Mhm,
love that. Yes, yes, yes.
mhm.
Mr. LeBron James. So what do you have to say about online reputation? I know you do a lot of social media. So, in the same vein, in terms of building this strong personal brand, what are some things that you feel like women can do, particularly women of color, could
Yeah,
do if there's any difference there, could do to really build their online presence?
yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing is that even if you aren't going to be active on all the platforms, secure your handle, preferably your first name, last name, on all the platforms. All of them. So I don't use Twitter, now called X. I don't use Threads. I don't use Pinterest. I don't really use Instagram like that. I'm mostly on, personally, I don't use Instagram like that. But yeah, I'm mostly on LinkedIn and TikTok. But I sure enough do have every single one of my handles, because what if I want to use them later in the future one day? And there's nothing worse than going on to a social media platform, typing in your name and seeing that somebody else has it, and they're not even actively using, they're
Right.
not even actively using that handle. So I would say make sure you secure all of your handles everywhere. And then also online, decide, like, it's like challenging, especially for Black women and women of color, to like be your authentic self. But I've always found that the people who do the best online, particularly when they are developing their personal brand as a thought leader or an expert in their industry. I'm thinking of like one of my clients in particular, like Brittany Johnson. The people know Brittany Johnson, but she's a marketing expert. Like, she is a marketing expert. But she also shows like different parts of her life, like, she's going to networking events, or like even like some of the things that she's teaching her daughter, and she's very true and authentic, and she talks about things that she's passionate about without being shy. And I've seen like the number of her LinkedIn connections and followers grow exponentially as she starts to focus more and more, like, oh, these are things that I'm passionate about. So when you're online, it's okay to talk about things that you're passionate about. Don't think to yourself, oh, well, I wonder, like, what's somebody gonna say about this? Listen, you can't make everybody happy, especially on the internet. I've been on here for a long time. You can't.
Oh yeah. That. Ooh. So I have a lot to say about that. Um, well, so the last part you just said about making everyone happy, right? When I decided to make this switch from being a resume writer to just personal branding consultant, I was scared as hell. I
Yeah.
was like, I'm doing, it's making sense. I just announced it to the world, making this change. Now everybody's be looking at me. What if I fail? All eyes on me. What if I don't know what I'm doing? Like, what if it doesn't work? Like all these things.
Yeah. Those are
And
all
he and you
legit.
know what he said? My husband said to me, now, there's three types of people in this world. One is going to be the people who love you, love everything you do, hang on to your every word, agree with everything you say, and just can't get enough. Then there's the people who can't stand you, that's going to hate everything you say, stand against everything you want to, you're for, and just be assholes. Then next, don't give a damn either way. So if you just focus on the people that love you, to encourage you, and you're reaching the people you need to reach, you don't even worry about it. You might as well do what you got to do, because either way, it's always going to be somebody that's going to hate you, somebody's going to love you, and somebody's that's not going to care. So why not
Correct.
just show up who you are? No
Right.
matter what, you're going to have people who disagree, no matter what. And I always say this: if you look at Jesus, they hated him. They
Tell
killed that man.
tell the people, tell the people the truth. That man
They
had about a hundred followers on TikTok. If he was on TikTok, he would have had 100 followers. Okay, it was 100 people following that man around. That was it. That was it.
But then, and he was the son of, like, he was perfect, the son of God. There was no reason to hate this man, but yet still they killed that man. And you look at Hitler, opposite end of the spectrum. People love Hitler too. They was with him. So we as a people are nowhere near those two extremes. And they each had their set of followers and haters. So what do
Mhm.
you think we're gonna get?
Yeah, that's real. Yeah, you just gotta let it go.
Yeah.
You gotta let it go. It's uncomfortable, which is okay. I think we also gotta, accept that being uncomfortable is okay. However, I always tell people all the time, like, so you could have continued being a resume writer, right? And that was uncomfortable because
Yes.
you were no, like, you outgrew that. It was no longer your purpose, right?
Right.
You could have stayed in that, and that's uncomfortable. So, do you want to deal with that discomfort, or do you
Mm,
want to go into your purpose, right? Be uncomfortable for like what, a month or two, maybe
mm.
3 months? Okay, you're uncomfortable for a little while, but at least you're gonna get, the great feeling of being in your purpose. I'm pretty sure waking up in the morning is a lot more exciting now that you're doing what you really
Right,
want to do.
right. Yeah, I love that. Portia said, "Pick a struggle." I love it.
Yeah.
It's facts though. It's so true. And a lot of times people don't want to build their personal brands because they're scared of the naysayers. They're uncomfortable, all these things. But I always say, what is your big why?
Yes.
What we doing this for?
Yes. I love that. I love when you work with your clients, you do what the personal mission.
Yeah.
Yes. Talk
We
about that
start
personal mission.
yeah, we start off with the first we start off by why aren't you showing up? What are the things that in your head that you believed that have prevented you from doing all these things? Then what is your big why? Like, what does that all look like? What is your vision for this brand? Because the brand is not the end. The brand is some means to some end, right? You want to build your brand for some outcome.
Right.
And so what is that? What is that? What does it look like? And then what's your personal mission? Because the people I work with and want to work with have a personal mission. They want to impact their industries, their communities, and the world.
Right.
What does that look like? So now, once you have a clear understanding of why you're doing this work, what it will mean for you and for the people you want to impact, those little trolls, them little internet trolls, a bloop on the radar because your picture, your vision is so big and so powerful. It moves you to the point where I can't be bothered with these trolls. We're just gonna have to block them and keep it moving because I got people to reach. I have a mission that I'm here to do. So, yeah.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's the having the why really keeps people on track. Excuse me, on track because it's like yeah, like you said, you have people whom you need to reach, and these people need your help. A lot of the times when I work with my clients and they're like, "Oh, I'm scared to post this content," and I'm like, "Well, if your content helps just one person in the world, you've done a really good job." Because that one person, it may have been all that they needed to keep going, to keep
Yeah.
it moving. And if somebody doesn't like it, I mean, I just really, I don't have, no, I can't help the person if they
Yeah,
don't.
it's not my problem.
It's not, yeah,
That's on you.
I can't be concerned.
Yeah. And when you have that knowing of why I'm doing
It's,
this,
you know, I can't,
you
it can't, I can't, it,
yeah, you're so much clearer on what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, what you should be talking about, what you should be talking about, what opportunities are best for you and which ones are not in alignment. You got to get that foundation first. And I think that's where a lot of
right,
people miss the mark because they just like, oh, I want to build a brand. Let me get some photos. Let me get some colors. All right, let me get my video. Let me get my mic. That's your priority.
yeah,
Girl, what?
yeah,
What's your message?
right, right.
Oh,
No, that's really real. I like that. I like how you explain how, um, when you have that strong personal mission, when you have that strong brand statement, it helps you say no a lot faster. Because if you don't have that, you're going to say yes to everything. You're going to get burned out. You're going to be upset. You're going to be overwhelmed and frustrated. But if you know your mission and what you're supposed to be doing, you can focus on the things that you're really supposed to be doing. Yeah, and your messaging can be on point every single time.
that's right. Yeah, important stuff. Important stuff.
Hmm.
So, what's one thing you would say that you want to make sure that anyone who's listening will walk away with today in terms of being a LeBron James of their industry? And really, when I think of LeBron James, I think of him dominating his industry. So,
Right.
what do you have for the folks who want to dominate
Yeah.
their industry?
No, that's excellent. Yeah. So you got to speak up. That's number one. Whether it is taking more opportunities to present at meetings where there's senior leadership is going to be at the meeting, or maybe at a conference that your company has, having an opportunity to speak there. Or if you don't have those opportunities, speak up to your boss or your manager. Let them know about the work that you're doing, the impact that you're making, and that also uh, segues to making sure that you are tracking the work that you're doing and the impact that you're doing. A lot of the times we work in our jobs every single day and it's like, oh, well, I'm not really doing anything. No, you're doing a lot of things, right? So making sure you're keeping track of that. I always recommend that people create some type of wins folder, where it's like, okay, you did a great job on a project, on a presentation, something happened, you put whatever it is, the email or the measurements, the KPIs, all that stuff, you put it in some type of folder, whether it's on your email, on your desktop, Google Drive, Dropbox. There's just so many things that you can do to keep track of that. So you're going to speak up, you're going to keep track of your things. And then you're also going to make sure that you are being true to yourself.
Mm.
Very important to be true to yourself. I understand that, especially as Black women, women of color, we cannot always show up and be like as friendly and like bonding as, with some of our coworkers as, some other people can be. However, you can show up as yourself. Like, you're going to get these braids, you're going to get these bright colors. You're going to get these things. I may not share all parts of my life with you, but I am going to show up in a way that makes me feel comfortable. If you're uncomfortable with my bright nails, my lip color, I can't help you. You know what I'm saying? I cannot.
That's right.
And then also going back to the professional development, you're going to make sure that you're investing in yourself, building up your skill set. Strength. Well, actually, just more like polishing up and strengthening your skill sets. Because, like I said, you probably already have the skill set that you need, but just strengthening your skill set. And then you already have everything inside of you. Just go and be dominant. You already have all the things. You already have all the things. You have all the degrees. You have all the certifications. You've listened to all the webinars. You've gone to all the things. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're doing. Just go out there and be more visible. It's going to be uncomfortable at first, but oh well, you'll be fine. You won't die. You'll get over it. You'll move past it.
I love that. I love that. And you mentioned something that I wanted to. We're gonna wrap up though. We're gonna wrap up. But those were some gems. Those were some nuggets for sure. And I think, about us showing up authentically, it's hard. Let's be real, because corporate was not made for us.
Not at all.
It was not made for us. So now we're trying to fit into some culture that is not who we are.
Right.
So what we do, we go and we become a chameleon and we start talking like this because, that's what everyone else is doing. So let me just elevate my voice a little and not use too much slang and just be professional. When you're saying the same thing, you're just using your own tone and your own way that you speak, that value doesn't change,
Right.
because you grew up in the hood and you got a little slang.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I want all, one of my personal missions is for all Black women across the globe to stop code switching. I want us to show up so authentically that there's nothing that can be done about it. Right? Because if we collectively decide we're like we're gonna go in with our braids, I'm gonna go with my fro, you're gonna go in with these loud colors, you're gonna talk how you talk, and the work is still going to be above average because we already come with excellence. There's nothing that can be done. You're gonna fire the whole entire Black women community because we got braids. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's a part of my ministry, is to really like get these Black women to start showing up authentically and not feel like they have to code switch to get an opportunity or to get promoted or, all those things. I have a client now and she's like, I feel like I put on a caricature for work.
Wow.
And she's up there, she's director level. And it's like, then stop. She's like, yeah, but I tried that one time. I was in the meeting and I wasn't my extra bubbly self, because that's the caricature she put on. And everybody's like, oh my gosh, are you okay? You okay today? Is everything all right? Like something's wrong. It's like, nothing's wrong, people. I'm just sick of fronting for y'all.
Right. Yeah. So, take the mask off. It's hard, but we got to do something. So
it's very hard. And I know there's a lot of DEI stuff and bias training. Child, None of that stuff is coming to save us. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no.
We have to teach the world how to treat us. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Alrighty.
Wrap it up. So, what is there anything else you want to say to the people? How can they find you? How can they work with you? What's your
Oh
website?
yeah.
Where you at? What are your services? Tell us about what you got going on.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, so I do work with women one on one to help them level up on LinkedIn. I work with professional women. We get your LinkedIn profile looking right so you can attract the money making opportunities you deserve. I also work with coaches and consultants. I work with a lot of coaches and consultants working on their LinkedIn profiles as well. And I usually get them a fire LinkedIn company page as well. And then I do webinars for corporations, a lot of ERG groups that I work with, teaching their employees how to level up on LinkedIn so they can be huge brand advocates for the company. And I have a website. You can visit the website. That's where you can find out about all my services. And you can subscribe to my newsletter. I send it twice a month. It is quite informative and fun. And that's about it. That's me.
I love it. I need to get on this newsletter.
Oh, yeah, it's
I'm
quite.
asleep. I'm gonna get on there. Okay. Well, thank you so much, my dear, for sharing your thoughts with us today, for indulging me
Absolutely.
in this conversation, for carving out the time to chat with me. This was so much fun. And if you're interested in building a personal brand on LinkedIn and dominating your industry like LeBron, hit up Portia. Okay? Hit her up.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you
Thank
again.
you.
And bye.